The Body Snatcher by Robert Louis Stevenson. Part 2. When he was a young man, Fettes studied medicine in Edinburgh. He did not work very hard, but impressed his teachers. They thought him a clever, handsome fellow who listened closely and remembered well. The anatomy course was run by a famous surgeon. Mr. K, as I shall call him, was a popular teacher who enjoyed good food and expensive clothes. He also preferred intelligent, obedient students. Fettes was one of Mr. K's favourites, and in his second year became a junior assistant. This meant that he was now responsible for maintaining the supply of bodies needed for the anatomy classes. The honour came with a private room on the floor above the operating theatre. In the early hours before dawn every morning, a special signal called Fettes out of his bed. He would then go down to open a side entrance for two very rough-looking men. They would then carry their goods into the dissecting room. Fettes then paid the men and made a note in a logbook. Then he could return to his bed for a couple of hours' sleep before the first class. Maintaining the supply of corpses was a continual problem in that large and busy class. Mr. K asked no questions in his dealings with the trade. They bring the body and we pay the price, he instructed his two assistants. Ask no questions. So Fettes did not ask why the bodies were always delivered just before dawn, or why they were still warm. Though his doubts grew with every delivery, he kept them to himself. Then one cold, frosty November morning, the men arrived later than usual. They seemed nervous and anxious to leave quickly. Fettes, who had been awake all night with a toothache, showed them into the dissecting room. Sick and sleepy, he was leaning against a wall as the men took the body from the sack. Glancing across, he caught a glimpse of the face of the young woman. Startled, he took 2 steps nearer, holding his candle above the body. "My God!" he cried. "That is Jane Galbraith!" The men did not answer, but they moved nearer the door. "I know her, I tell you. I saw her only yesterday." "Sir, you are completely mistaken," said one of the men. The other looked at Fettes with murder in his eyes. "Give us the money," he demanded. Terrified, Fettes counted out the money. The moment his visitors departed, he confirmed that it was Jane Galbraith, and she had been the victim of a violent attack. In great distress, the young student ran upstairs and locked himself in his room. What was he to do? Mr. K had warned him not to ask questions about the bodies. It would be dangerous to interfere in such serious business. Fettes decided to await the advice of the senior class assistant, a clever young doctor named Wolfe Macfarlane. Dr. Macfarlane was an excellent sportsman and a great favourite among all the staff and students. He even owned his own horse and carriage. On that morning, Macfarlane arrived earlier than usual. Fettes met him on the stairs and told him about the girl. They went into the dissecting room. Macfarlane examined the marks on her body. "Yes," he said with a nod. "It looks suspicious." "What should I do?" asked Fettes. "Do?" repeated the other. why do anything?
Someone else might recognise her, said Fettes.
Let's hope not, said MacFarlane. And what if somebody does recognise her? That doesn't mean you did. But MacFarlane raised his hand to end the conversation. If you say anything, you'll get Kay into terrible trouble. And what about you and I? What could we say? It's obvious that all our subjects have been murdered. MacFarlane, cried Fettes. Come now, you must have suspected it yourself. Look, I'm as sorry as you are about this. MacFarlane tapped the body with his walking stick. But we are men of the world, he added calmly. Aren't we? Young Fettes swallowed hard. Above all things, he wanted to be a man of the world. Finally, he nodded his head. The body of the unfortunate girl was dissected and demonstrated in class like the others. No one appeared to recognise her